News of the day. And there's a lot of news going on right now. So I was going to do a video just specifically on Darling, but then a lot of other stuff's going on too. So I'm like, all right, just pack it all into one video. Scott Darling is on waivers. If you want him, he's free. And costs, well, he's got 3 years left on a deal that pays $16.6 million altogether. So it's not really free. It's one of those, call now and we'll send you this for free. And it's like, well, wait. So I get a pair of sunglasses for paying $1,800? I don't know if that's free. Anyways, Darling's on waivers, which means that McElhinney and Mrazek would be your goaltenders for Carolina. Let that sink in. And the funny thing is, last summer, I said, Darling, I don't know if he can get it together. And there were a lot of fans that said, no, he's in shape and he's very confident. He says he's going to be better. Everybody says that. And again, he may be the most likable guy in the locker room. Likable doesn't equal employment in the NHL. Because if it did, there are certain guys that fans and players alike couldn't stand that wouldn't have a job. The one that interests me, though, is Zekov's on waivers. And I had to double check. I'm like, wait, he's on waivers? They're just going to hand him off? And the reason I say that is because coming into this season, Valentin Zekov was seen as kind of a half-decent prospect for Carolina. He's 23 years of age. And there was some upside there. I can't see him clearing waivers, especially when you look at who got claimed today. Calvin Pickard, it was claimed by Arizona, so he's doing the anti-Niemi rounds. Last year, Niemi got moved around a lot. Now it's Pickard's turn. There's no way that Pickard will be the Arizona Coyotes' 1 or 2 goaltender once you have Ranta and Kemper both healthy, but that doesn't happen very often at all. And Jean-Sebastien D is back with Pittsburgh. Claimed on waivers from the Devils. So we'll see what Pittsburgh does with him. Probably just send him to Wilkes-Barre is my guess. Andre Palat is set to return to the lineup, the stacked Lightning lineup tomorrow, which means based on numbers and based on what I've read, Adam Ernie might be the guy who gets pulled out of the lineup, which would be a shame because I like Ernie, but I get it. And Ryan Donato gets another shot starting tonight. Because of all the injuries in Boston, he gets a shot at prime time minutes. If, and I mean if, this kid is going to realize his potential this season, this is probably going to be his best chance. It's reported, Darren Dreger's reported that the St. Louis Blues are interested in Howard. Now, what I'm wondering is, because Paul Holmgren came out and said that he's going to look to upgrade the goaltending in Philly immediately, does this suddenly mean that the goaltending market is going to heat up? Maybe. But I don't know which goalies are available. Does Scott Darling look attractive to somebody? Anybody? And if Chicago didn't have Cam Ward, would they consider it? Probably not, with their cap situation being as it normally is. But it'll be interesting to see what happens there too. And it would be interesting to see if Howard went to St. Louis and Jake Allen went to Detroit, what happens there? Because again, with Allen, it's a matter of, I think it's mostly mental. I really don't think it's a physical thing. So if Detroit felt that they could do what needs to be done to have Allen be a more consistent threat, who knows? Timo Meier was out last night as considered day-to-day, but the big news was San Jose's Logan Couture coming out and saying the team is not close. They're not close to being a contender. They're not close to turning it around. And I realized that over the weekend, where it's like, wow, I really thought they were starting, and I thought they had that couple of big games, and then it's just fallen apart again from there. So for Logan Couture to come out and say, yeah, this team isn't close, that's pretty damning. So we'll see what happens from there. We're 2 days away from hearing the end of William Nylander. No, we're not. No, we're not. Because here's the thing. Nylander has until, I think it's 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern on Saturday to sign an NHL contract, or he does not play in the National Hockey League this year. But if he doesn't sign in 2 days, we will see article after article after article after article for the next 6 months about what do you do now? What happens to him now? Where is he now? How many points did he have on the team he's playing for in the KHL? And on and on and on and on and on. So I hope he signs, and I hope that's the end of it. The thing is, of course, once he signs, then all the articles on TSN Sportsnet become, how much do Matthews and Marner eat out of whatever's left over this from the salary cap? Now that they've brought back Nylander, can they afford to keep Marner and Matthews. Will they hold out? Which one's more likely to hold out? Which one wears better socks? Everything, all the time, Leafs, all the time. Fletcher's likely to be the next GM of Philly. I think this will probably happen sooner rather than later. Chuck Fletcher has had meetings with Holmgren, and he has emerged as the front runner. Yeah, they've talked to guys like Chris Pronger, but in reality, they want somebody who's got some NHL level experience, and Chuck Fletcher definitely has that. And David Riddick on the goal last night that was disputed because Jamie Benn kind of tripped over his leg on the way through the crease. His statement is, maybe next time I'll lay down for half an hour. Now, that's obviously taking it to hyperbole. That is just taking it to ridiculous extreme. But he makes a good point. If a goaltender tries to right himself and make the save, he's punished. If he doesn't, he's rewarded, because then the goal won't count, because it'll be the goaltender was interfered with and wasn't able to make the save. So it's a tricky situation. Do goalies go ahead, go down? Doesn't matter. Overtime, just go down and just then challenge it for goalie interference. And a replay official can say, yeah, he got knocked down there and he wasn't able to get back up. I've said before, I think they need to make the whole goalie interference thing really, really simple so we don't even have to have the debate. Offending the player who's offending in the zone touches the goaltender, that's it. And I know people don't like that. It's done in Europe, and what happens is players just learn not to go near the goaltender. Sort of like in the 80s when the nets were actually attached to the ice and they didn't jump off the pegs when you sneezed on them. Oh, I remember that. Nobody went near the net back then. And yeah, I get why they don't have the nets anchored to the ice now. That's not safe. But boy, were goaltenders given a little bit more space, and players didn't crash the net like they do now. They crash the net because they know, yeah, the net's going to fly off anyways, and whatever, the puck's there. They think twice if the net was anchored. But again, that's just me remembering how hockey was and how players would... Basically, that net was like it was made of lava. You just didn't touch it. All right, let me know your thoughts about the news of the day kind of thing. And does Darling clear and get sent down? Because that'll be awkward. And does Zikov get claimed, much like D and Pickard got claimed today? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.